Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Fed Up, your no BS nutrition podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Marie, certified personal trainer and nutrition specialist, working with clients since 2014. After swimming up diet culture's bullshit stream for so many years, I am fed the absolute up with how miserable it's making people feel when we are supposed to be getting healthier. This podcast is here to help you gain your sanity back so you can stop yo-yoing once and for all and finally learn how to trust yourself so you can enjoy food again without fear or shame while still getting to your health goals. My aim is to teach you how to detect the BS in not just the food and diet industries, but in all realms of life, because I know that, like me, we are all just a little fed up. So without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, my little ones. Welcome to the final episode of 2025 of the Fed Up podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wanted to just kind of check in with you. 2025, little bit of a doozy for some of us. Lots of highs, some real lows, but we're not going to talk about those in this podcast. For me, it kind of went a little fast, a little slow at the same time. I am super ready though for 2026 and all the exciting things that I just have going on already. So I'm starting my final semester and I'm graduating in May, which is, oh my gosh, like it's finally here. Who knew? And I will finally have my bachelor's in food and nutrition with a focus on dietetics. And then I start my grad program in the fall in dietetic systems leadership. So it's going to be a good year. And I wanted to take this episode to, one, say goodbye to 2025, but also to introduce you to my January 2026 podcast series that is all about setting and actually accomplishing your New Year's resolutions. So in reality, this series will be about setting and accomplishing your goals, short and long term, not just resolutions, but like anytime you set a goal. And the real job of a good coach, in my opinion, it's not really the plan that they come up with. It's more getting you to actually do it and having the enjoyment and the adherence and the psychology of actually being able to execute the plan, keep it up, and follow through with it all the way to the end or even beyond, especially if it's a habit health forward goal, not necessarily a specific number or performance or, a metric goal, so to speak. So really what I'm going to be doing here, without further ado, I will be releasing 2 episodes per week in January. So a total of 8 episodes on Tuesdays like normal and then Fridays as well. In February, we'll go back to just Tuesdays. I don't normally do twice a week, but I really wanted to dive into how to set yourself up for the whole year. January is only 1 month, and I'm going to be talking about some statistics of who actually sticks to resolutions, and it's not very high. Spoiler alert, it's like less than 10% of people actually accomplish their goals, which is relatively sad. So I'm also guilty of setting myself up for failure and disappointment because I don't go through the full process of properly setting a goal because it's a skill. And it's easy to have a wish, right? Like, I wish I'm going to lose 10 pounds, but having a goal without a plan is just a wish. So when we actually pair that with having a plan, that is actually having a goal. So we're going to break it down into how to actually set the goal and then break it down even further into how to actually make the plan actionable to accomplish the goal. That's usually the part where people really make huge mistakes because they either don't set up their goal properly or appropriately, I should say, and then they don't really have a plan afterwards. So that's what I'm going to make January all about. The series will explore very specific case studies of certain clients I've had or certain examples I've had where they're successful in their goals, whether it's short or long term, or just other common examples of things that I've seen, behaviors, mistakes, all the things where people tend to be very similar. You are an independent, unique individual, but also we're all the friggin' same. Human behavior is relatively constant, mind you. And then, of course, there's a ton of variation within that, but behavioral psychology or getting yourself to actually do things neurotypical and neurodivergently. Again, there are variants of this. There are different things that work for different people, and finding your sweet spot, so to speak, in, setting yourself up for a goal and actually accomplishing that goal is going to look different for everybody. However, we're also all the fucking same. So I'm also going to really look at like what is the reason that I get really popular February through March, and then as the year goes on, right? Like there's kind of phases or cycles, but and then there you have your long-term year after year, all year long clients, of course. But in general, you get a lot more busy in that February, March, April. Surprisingly, it's not January, but I think that's because people either take a little bit longer to actually take action after setting a goal, or maybe they try their way first in January, or they first join a gym and then they realize they don't know what they're doing and then they seek out a coach. So actually I don't get busy January 1st. I usually get busy the first week of February, and then into March I really pick up clients as they're preparing for summer, or they just end up having a little bit more energy from being after the winter time. Or I moved into an area in Montana, of course, where people are doing things during the winter time, and then they'll come in during the winter actually to work out because you can't really work out outside. So sometimes there's kind of an influx during ski season. Sometimes there's a little bit of a, decrease because people are skiing more, or just schedules change a little bit. Other times it's you're really busy during, the summer because people are just feeling better. It does go kind of up and down, up and down. But generally, the end of the year is a lot less busy than the beginning of the year. So that being said, yes, seasons change, but it's a lot of times because people set a goal at the beginning of the year and they're feeling a lot more gung-ho, and then they taper off. So again, shit happens. We all have lives to live, but how can we actually set ourselves up for success? I will also be talking about my own personal goals. So I'll take you through my examples personally so that you can really see how I'm applying this, because I have a goal to lose the 10 pounds that I've gained this past season. And I've shared recently that I had been working out less. I quit my serving job, which means super way less steps throughout the week, and I was stressed in school. I knew I had been stress eating, emotional eating a little bit, eating out a lot more. Eventually I just stopped packing lunches to take to school, and I was, again eating out a lot of higher calorie lattes. Or I just noticed too, if I were to eat out, a lot of times I'll just order the sandwich, right? I skip the chips and a drink. I just drink my water or something, or I'll drink a low calorie drink or something, or a diet. I had been just full on just root beer or Dr. Pepper or Sprite, which all have a ton more calories than I normally drink. I also would get the chips. I also would, eat a cookie later, or 5. I knew I was eating more. So it's not that I'm beating myself up over, oh my God, I've gained weight. I know exactly what kind of happened. I kind of expected it. I had been working out less, not been lifting as much. I've only been working out once or twice a week, rather than my normal for the past decade. I'd been working out 4 or 5 times a week, right? So things happen, things change, okay? Me being in school and all of the things accompanying that, things happen, and it was really hard for me to want to work out at 8 p.m., not gonna lie, especially when you have a 6 a.m. client. So of course, I have some mental battles there, a little bit of that, oh my gosh, this is the heaviest I've never ever been, and I'm not fitting into my jeans. But at the same time, I went out and bought myself new jeans because I was okay, don't feel bad and only wear leggings because you want to wear jeans and it's wintertime. So I went out and I bought myself one pair of jeans that's it's one size bigger in the waist, and they fit a lot more comfortably. And I was honestly, these would probably still fit even when I do lose my 10 pounds, because my body has distributed the weight fairly evenly. I notice it in my back, my love handles, my stomach, a little bit in my thighs, a little bit in my arms, a little bit even in my face, but it's a little bit everywhere. So yeah, my clothes are a little bit tight, and it's not the end of the world. I'm just going to go out and buy different clothes. But I also know this is temporary for me. I also know this isn't the first time this has happened. This is the first time it's happened recently that I've gained this amount of weight that again, is like directly related to my behaviors. Usually I do fluctuate within 5 or 10 pounds, but I'm like not fluctuating away from this. I'm like sitting here. So yeah, we're going to do something about it because I like my body to look and feel a certain way. And how my body looks also is directly related to the behaviors that I just aforementioned. And changing my behaviors is what's going to be healthy for me. It's not necessarily losing the 10 pounds. It's just a side effect. So that's how I look at it. I'm a little bit more objective with it. I'm a little bit more, you know, I can look at it constructively rather than critically, if that makes sense. So I hope you can do the same. And I'll walk you through, what the next 3 months is going to look like. So yeah, I can tell you that I've been eating more fast food than normal. I've been eating, a lot more of the pizza that I get once a week. I usually get pizza once a week, no big deal. But I usually only eat like 3 or 4 slices, and then I save the rest for leftovers. And then I'll even like throw the last slice or two away because it's like 4 days old or whatever, right? Lately, I've been like, oh my God, I just ate pretty much that entire, like if it's a frozen pizza, I will demolish the whole thing. If it's like I got a pizza from Out and About that's a little bit heavier, I might eat all but 2 slices. And I'm like, that is a lot more than I normally eat. So if I do that for like freaking 8 weeks, like of course, of course, I'm not surprised where the 10 to 15 pounds came from. So that being said, I'll take you through what my goal setting looks like. I'll set my own goals along with you. If you are listening, thank you. If you tune in, I will appreciate it. And really how I plan to get back into what I normally do. I know how to maintain my body. And I think that people don't realize like there are different seasons, but they're also just different gradual lifestyle things that happen, like you gain weight during a pregnancy, and then you get really busy with a newborn, and then a toddler, and then multiple children. Of course, you didn't have time to lose the 30 pounds, right? So people forget to like apply it to context. And even if you worked out and were healthy, it's probably not as much as like you would have been able to do if you were well slept and rested and you didn't have a screaming toddler or a newborn or you weren't breastfeeding or, all of the things that are there, or people don't realize they played a college or a high school sport and then they got a desk job after college. Like, no wonder you gained some weight because your activity just went down really naturally, maybe even without you noticing. Again, some people notice and some people don't. One of my clients was a bus driver. So if you think about it, she was sitting a lot, right? She's driving a bus. And then she retired and she's like, dude, I have gained 50 pounds after my retirement because she's not leaving the house really. Like instead of getting up and down and like attending field trips and kind of taking walks while she's waiting for kid pickup, like she kind of does all those things. And now she doesn't do any of those things. And she's even gained weight over the last 2 to 5 years. I don't remember exactly when she retired, but within the past few years. So it is one of those things that like you might just not really consider it a weight change, right? Like you're like, oh, I just retired, or oh, I just had a baby and sure, I gained some pregnancy weight, but shouldn't I just like go back to my body? No, because you have to actually put yourself in a deficit. You have to increase your activity. You have to increase your sleep and your this and that, like all of the things it takes to lose weight, right? Which can look very different for everybody, depending on what your current lifestyle looks like. And we forget to put those things into context. And then we like beat ourselves up over it. So I'm trying to encourage you to be able to look at it constructively by being like, oh yeah, I have been like eating more. I've been, breastfeeding a baby, or I've been dealing with a toddler, or I've been in nursing school, or I've been sleep deprived the past 3 months, or whatever it looks like for you. I'm not saying to make excuses. Excuses look like, well, I can't go do that thing that I'm thinking about doing that I want to do. I can't go do that because of this. Once you start doing that, so you can say, well, I haven't been working out because I have a newborn. Let's just be pretty extreme. And I'm not saying this because you have to like start working out after you give birth. But now you have a 2-year-old, right? And you're like, well, I'll start working out like after he gets to school, after he joins, kindergarten. And it's like, okay, well, that's 3 years from now if you have a 2-year-old, right? Okay, now he's 5. Now you put him in school, but now you're like, oh, finally I get to rest. It's been a while since I've had a silent household. Yay. Of course I don't want to work out. I'm just enjoying my rest or whatever. And this is when some people do kind of get back into their routines. Like sometimes it takes a few years. There's no shame here. But I think it can be a really tricky mind state to be like, okay, well, I'm going to do that when this settles down or when this changes, or I can't go do that because X, Y, and Z, or blaming your children my mom does this. I love my mother, but she will tell everybody and a dog. She will tell everybody in the room that the reason that like, oh, well, I used to look hot and skinny and blah, blah, blah. And then I had 3 big babies. And it's like, my youngest brother is 30 years old. So you've had 30 years to quote unquote bounce back or just accept the fact that you're not going to because your body has changed. But she resents it and it builds up this like probably even more stress and this blame and this excuse and this like external factor of why you can't lose weight. And she's constantly trying to lose weight. Don't mind you. I'm not trying to put a goal on somebody else. Like, you don't even have to want to lose weight. But a lot of people want to lose weight and they're not really able to like look at it constructively and be like, okay, well, what really changed? Like, my mom doesn't ride horses like she used to every single week. She isn't running around with small kids anymore, right? So she works at a desk job rather than a server job that she did when she was in her 20s. Like all of these different factors. Again, that yes, you had 3 kids, but also like your entire life changed. Give yourself some credit, give yourself some compassion, and then make a plan if it's really important to you. That doesn't have to do with like these extreme dieting detoxes, right? Like we want smart goal planning, which is what January is all about. Because so many people just like, well, I want to lose weight. And then they go for like the quickest thing, or they go for this really extreme thing, which is again what we're going to talk about in the first episode is like why New Year's resolutions fail, because we go for these extreme, oh, I'm going to work out every single day. I have to do 200 sit-ups every single day. I have to, eat this every single day. I have to drink this. Even the water thing. Like, I get wanting to drink more water, but telling yourself I need to drink more water is not actually setting a goal. Instead, telling yourself to be specific and saying, okay, I'm going to drink 1 8-ounce glass of water in the morning with my breakfast or my coffee, whatever, before I make my coffee. I'm going to drink another glass of water before my workout, one after my work. Like if you actually set a specific plan for actually drinking more water, that's realistic and flexible. And then next thing you know, you've developed a habit because every morning you get up and while you brew your coffee, you're drinking your water. And again, people will create like really weird things like, well, as I'm doing this, I'm going to do 10 push-ups. And it's like, dude, you are waiting for coffee to brew. You're going to do 10 push-ups? Like, no, you're not. I mean, maybe some people are, but like you might do that for a week and then you're like, well, fuck that. So part of setting a goal is also like smartly able to set it. We've all heard of SMART goals. We're going to go through what that is and really what it means, because even this past semester, I taught 2 different classes at MSU, and part of the classes, because they're activities classes, have to do with goal setting and we have to set SMART goals. And reading those SMART goals, I was like, I would mark all of you guys down. Like, this is not a SMART goal. Were any of you paying attention in class? And it's not that they weren't paying attention. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. However, they definitely don't have a lot of practice. So setting a goal overall is the skill, and being able to set an actionable plan that you want to stick to, that you're able to stick to, that's just challenging enough, but doable. That's the sweet spot. Getting your brain to be like, this is kind of hard. I have to think about it. It's intentional. I feel proud of myself for doing it after. That's the key. That's when we start to see real change, not just having a general wish, doing like some really extreme quick fix in January, quitting by what we call quitting day, which is January 19th, because like 88% of people are not sticking to their resolutions till the end of January. So we are changing that. One thing that I'm also going to talk about in this series is something that I love. I heard it years ago. I don't remember from who. It's not my original idea. But instead of setting one overall, like, I want to lose 10 pounds, or like, I want to improve my blah, blah, blah health or financials, or I'm going to, take time for myself and rest more and improve my mental health and take a yoga class, like whatever you're setting yourself up for, right? One thing that I like to do is actually break it up into like monthly goals, and not just like goals, but like, okay, I want to improve my health. I want to improve my weight, whatever, or improve my weight. Yeah, I guess lose weight. But being able to break it up into like 12 mini goals, so that way your like overall focus is a little bit more centered each month. You only have to do it for the month, really. And hopefully it's just like what I call adding layers. So I tell this to clients all the time is like, okay, you want to improve your health. Cool. Don't try to do it all tomorrow or even this month. Like people will be like, okay, I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to improve my diet. I'm going to eat more fiber. I'm going to eat more protein. I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. I'm going to go on a run. I'm going to walk. I'm going to, like, they do literally, I'm going to do my skincare every single night at 8 p.m. and then go to bed at exactly 9 p.m. Like, they plan it like almost too much. And then one, you get overwhelmed, and then you actually got a lot of dopamine from like planning it. But doing all of that overnight is really, really hard. So instead, take those things that you want to improve your health with, like drinking more water, eating more protein, going to bed on time, and break it up into different months. So maybe January, all you work on is a certain sleep-wake cycle. Maybe you're somebody who like stays up really late, or you end up like napping a long time. There's like no regularity. Maybe your first goal is just to go to bed 10 p.m. and wake up at 8 a.m. or whatever it looks like for you. Or, okay, I'm going to just go to the gym in January 2-3 times a week because that's realistic for most people, especially if you don't do anything right now. And then in February, adding some, 10 to 20-minute walks in between or on the same days or whatever it is, because you've already now developed the habit of going to the gym for 3 days a week. It's become like second nature. Adding the walk isn't that big of a deal. And then in March, you're going to work on adding more protein. So now you take a couple days where you track your protein. You tell yourself, okay, I'm going to add 20 grams of protein to my day. That's just a protein shake. Cool. I'm going to add a protein shake after my workout. So like you can start to just kind of inch your way towards it so that all of a sudden in December, you have these like 10 to 12 much healthier habits. And that's what leads a lot of times to your goals, whether it's to lose weight or to gain muscle or to improve your mental health, whatever it is. It's these little things that makes a difference, and spreading them out over the year also makes like it's a lot easier for me to focus like, okay, October is my month for this. That's a lot easier than being like, this whole year I have to do all of this. And then by like June, you're like, what was I even doing? I don't even remember. So again, breaking it up into 12 things. I'm going to kind of go over that, I think, in week 2. It'll be really cool because I've actually never done this before. So I'm going to do it with you guys. I think that it would be a really great way to set up resolutions so you can have like, again, your overall goal or an overarching goal. And I oftentimes have goals for different departments in my life. You don't have to have one goal, but in order to do that goal, whatever it is, if you have 10 freaking goals, you would break all of those goals down into daily, weekly, monthly actionable habits and a plan, right? So choose your goals wisely. But again, kind of my ADHD is, well, if I choose 12 different goals that I only have to focus on for a short amount of time, that's kind of nice. Or say financially, in January, your goal is just to like keep track of your expenses and your income and like maybe you have a date where you put on your calendar your financial date with yourself to go through 2025's expenses and income report and like set, your tax appointment or whatever it looks like for you. So you can do that in January. And then in February, you're doing a no spend month. Or in March, you're doing increase your Roth IRA, like put an extra $200 in there or whatever. So like you can kind of add this like different types of financial goals throughout the year that also ultimately end goal is like I saved up for emergency fund, or I paid off all my debt, or I just like didn't spend out of my means. Like I didn't add anything to my credit cards and I paid them off. Like whatever your financial goal is, you can break it up into 12 monthly things. So that's all I have to talk to you about this week. I hope you have had a very happy holidays, and you also are getting excited for the new year. I kind of hate that it starts on like midweek, but whatever, it works. It's fine. So if you're not even starting your new year until next week, that's fine with me. I'm not even going to judge you. Or if you're starting it early, maybe like Monday, even though it's the 29th, you're going to be like, yeah, we're starting on Monday because I'm not just going to wait till Thursday because it's a number on a calendar. And that's the thing. It's really hard too. We like add in this extra goal of ours for like the new year, right? But in reality, like last week was not that different from next week, right? So keep that in mind. Even though it feels really fresh, it's a new year. It's also just like next week. So, anyway, hope that gives you some food for thought. Hope you had a wonderful, wonderful 2025 and you have some storming brain neurons thinking about what your 2026 goals are and how you're going to break it down. And I hope that you will tune in for my mini series next month. I will see you in the new year. Have a happy day. Bye. Thanks so much for being here, friends. If you enjoyed this episode, please screenshot and tag me over on Instagram or leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening from. Your support means the world to me and only helps me get the No BS news out to more people. If you're interested in working with me in nutrition or personal training, check out my programs and courses on my website at KaylaMarieFitness.com and on Instagram at KaylaMarie_fit. See you next week.